got everything set up. I ran a couple from Fusion's code post, and then I modified it. I don't need it to go all the way up to 0. I don't need it to go through and wait for a tool change. So basically I just presented those out in Mach 3, and at the end when it tries to G28 move up here to present it to me to take it out, I don't need that either. I can do it back here. Okay, so basically once it's done to the end here, I just tell it to G0 Z 6, 6 inches up, and then shuts off the spindle, and then it moves up. So then I have enough room, I can take the previous part out, put the next one in, and when I hit cycle start, you'll notice it just gets the spindle up to speed, and it goes down and it moves over and it starts cutting it. It cuts the piece. I only use the one tool. Part of the reason I only use the one tool is I don't have a tool changer. I could tell it to do the chamfering and that stuff, but it cleans up in the minute and 10 seconds that it takes to run this part. I can go over to the sander, grind the burrs off, and I have the drill press set up with a depth stop so I can flip it on each side and put a chamfer in the hole. Okay, and I'll show that, but when the equipment's running, it's hard to talk over it. So anyway, I'm not torquing these with the torque wrench either. So basically I bring this in, push it up against the back, slide it over against the stop, and then I crank it down pretty firmly. When it does the contour move at the end to do a cleanup, and I do it as a separate tool path instead of just a finish pass, because it goes down slowly while it's ramping, okay, doing the bore. And if I tell it to go deeper than I need to, I'm just wasting time doing a bore the rest of the way. Once it breaks through, I want it to finish, so I'm only going down 30 thousandths, and this has got a little bit of a chamfer on it. So it doesn't necessarily cut through completely, cleanly, anything like that. It doesn't clean up that very bottom edge or wall. So I do a contour pass, and you can't program the finish pass to go into the different depth. So I have to go down like 50 thousandths or more so that finish pass cleans up everything, because otherwise it tends to just want to push the metal down, and it leaves a really thin skin under there. So I'm doing a contour pass instead. And the contour pass, I can tell it go down 100 below the bottom of the part and clean it up. Then it'll pop up, and then it'll do a slice across here, it'll go over here, it'll do a slice across here, and it's not going down, it's not even 1/8 of an inch. And that's basically reliefs for the bends I'm going to put in this. And I've done these parts before, but I changed the speeds and feeds a little bit this time in the program, and I don't have that many. I should only have about 30 of these to do, maybe 25 left. So now that that's all explained, it's clamped down. We'll turn the coolant on, we'll hit start, and let it run for a minute. And I probably won't even edit out any of the cutting tool paths like I usually do, because it's only a minute. So it does have some pretty good burrs on it. I'm not too worried about it. Speeds and feeds probably aren't quite right. I turned it down to roughly 1 thou per tooth. I think I need to up it again, because if the material's kind of soft and gummy, I need to take a bigger bite, or the tool's just getting dull. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. They come off pretty quick and easy on here, so I'll just show you how I'm Using the grinder, it's a 220. I could put one of the heavier ones back on, but it cuts really fast, so there's no point. And then I'll do the deburring, or the chamfer on the hole. So the board is below the surface so that it catches this. I should probably put it down a little bit lower. And the vise isn't bolted down, so you'll watch it walk around. Basically, it's just to help make sure it's not my fingers doing all the holding, in case the countersink wants to grab a little bit. So that side's smooth, that side's got the other. And what I try to remember is which side was up when I quit, because as it shifts the vise around, you know, when I come down this time, it's close, it'll leave it there, but when I flip it over, it'll move the vise. Well, if I put the next one in, it'll move the vise again, but if I do the same side, it won't. So it only moves it once per two sides instead of each side. And that's the depth stop stopping it. And that was pretty close. So maybe, oh, I see. I was doing it like that. That makes it move. See how far off that is? Okay. So I just need to make sure I have one of these points back in the back there. That makes sense. That way it thinks it's the same. Either way. Duh. Okay. Always some little trick to figure out, huh? Quick note here. The reason for the chamfer on the hole is because there's a chamfer in here, a little fillet in here basically, and it wouldn't sit down flush. It would squish and everything like that, but it's just easier to, or nicer, more finished, whatever, to put that on there. So I'm doing that. They're going nice and quick. It's taking me longer to, you know, stand here and talk on the video than it is to make the parts. So.
On your smart speaker, just say, Alexa, play 97.1 Charlie FM.
Other than welding them on the main piece, these should be done.